Welcome, humans. We are back with Red Seal Roundup here at Red Seal Gaming. Once again, I am Dan, and I am here with my partner in crime,
Sal. How you doing?
All right, good, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Dude, I'm pumped.
Back in the saddle.
I'm pumped. We got some good news going on here from the Warhammer scene.
Yeah,
we got some good news on the we do something we haven't done before. Some more video game content.
Yeah, some cool stuff coming down the road. Let's see what just came out. The new Necromunda Hired Gun game came out. To some people like it, some people don't.
Well,
it's
that's the case for any Warhammer game. They whore out their titles so much that sometimes it goes to subpar companies, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
It's a small studio, and I think they're a French studio that did the game. I've been watching people stream it on Twitch, and the engine sometimes a little clunky. You know what I mean? Like the way they move, but the visuals, like the inside of a hive, and like seeing the day-to-day life of Necromunda,
it's fleshed out. It looks.
Oh
looks
man,
amazing.
I mean that alone, I'm going to try it just to see that.
Well, that'll get guys like us just to try it, just for the we like the aesthetic, and we'll go in and we'll try it out. The gameplay, I'm hearing mixed reviews, but that's pretty much the case on Steam for these downloadable games. It seems like they're kind of like unfortunately paying full price for what amounts to be a beta.
Yeah. I mean, for some, you're supposed to get like skins. There's supposed to be like weapon upgrades. There's a lot of like where I could see they could add to the game. The visuals, though, once again, they're
hopefully it's just good enough to get them some cash, and so they can make any kind of improvements that maybe people are complaining about.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's definitely room for it to grow and like to just to add more DLC for that game.
Yeah. And that's fully available now, or is that beta? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure if it's fully beta yet. I mean, I think it's fully out. I think it's 100%. It's weird too because it's also a single player game, so it's not. There's no multiplayer part of it from what I read. So it's a single player game right now, and then it might open up into other parts.
Well, that's fine because number 2 on the list I want to talk about here is a multiplayer game that I've actually played with some SEAL members.
Yes, you guys
online already.
You guys got the beta.
Chivalry 2.
Oh my god. I've been sleeping on it because I haven't had a chance. Every time I'm like, I'm going to go log on.
You got to get on.
And it's,
You got to get on, man. We're taking heads. We're taking limbs. And all in the name of the Red Seal.
I have all of my, 386 hours playing Chivalry 1 on my Steam.
My son is already just destroying.
Yeah. Our sons. All our sons are in there.
Honestly, I was playing with my son Dan, your son Lucas, my son Aiden, and a couple guys from the store, myself included. And, I guess I'm getting old, man, because, we get to the leaderboard at the end, and it's my son, it's your son, and it's my son Aiden.
Yeah. I walk in the room. In the room. I see Lucas is swinging a candelabra. That's the weapon. He's just whacking people with it. And I'm
get
like,
him some Nerf weapons, man. Stop wrecking the house.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But no, it was good. It had reminiscent of the old fun times we had when they were little. They were little shits.
Yeah, definitely the expanse of the levels, all the interaction with the environment. It looks definitely. They did a good job. I mean,
improved. They got to work on some collision a little bit, but it's the nature of that game because it's dueling.
This is the second open beta.
You can get into duels with people with blocks and parries, and you get fatigued. So
and they really mastered that in Chivalry 1. That there wasn't many games that like that. Mordhau was a clone of Chivalry when Chivalry ended.
I feel that the combat was as personal.
They've taken stuff from Mordhau,
very arcade-like.
Torn Banner Studios is just like they're killing it with that. So, I went to go play it. I went to go to the beta and it crashed and I had an error. So I had to uninstall it. Did it again. Crash error. So I'm like, all right. And I looked up what he had to do. I had to uninstall it again, and then I had to update my driver, reinstall it, and then by the time I went to go back to do that, the beta was over.
Unfortunately, PC games,
yes.
but that's what's cool about it. We do get early access.
Yeah, I mean, just play now.
We do get early access. Sometimes you pay the price, and it's just some bugs that need to be worked out. But great game. Check it out. Medieval fantasy combat. Taking off heads.
Yeah, when it's fully open, it's just
chopping
the
limbs,
gore,
capturing, pushing the barricades, pushing the rams.
Yes.
Flaming.
Yeah, the
flaming
stages,
oil. You could die to fire. It's just like
throwing spears, axes at people's heads.
It's just good old fashioned mayhem.
I mean, it's really it's a well polished first person melee combat game, which is not like it does it really well. So it's definitely the best at what they do,
and it's one of our favorite genres.
And it's gory as hell. All your armor, you got blood stains all over you.
The heads rolling everywhere, and you can kick the guy's head when
you can pick heads up,
pick it up and throw them at people.
It's
awesome. It's great.
What else we got coming down the road? June 9th is the new Battlefield, EA's Battlefield announcement.
But we have yet to see any. We don't know.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
When who, when, where, why, kind of. But it's their.
Oh, is it World War II? We don't even know that at all.
I mean, Battlefield's the big, expansive game, whereas the Call of Duty games are your small rotating maps.
Sure.
When Warzone changed that, so I'm sure Battlefield and EA are gonna want to compete with the market of Warzone because Warzone just exploded.
About modern combat in Battlefield games is cool because you can roll as a squad, get in a helicopter, fly across this expansive battlefield.
The tactical part of those games makes it, yes. The World War II does limit it in what you could do, and then
at that point you're only looking at transports and tanks. And
and then attachments, like, soldiers, even special op forces and guys, they didn't really add attachments on. They just got the better gun, you know what I mean? Like,
there wasn't a whole
they were paratroopers. They weren't like, they weren't Green Berets yet. They weren't SEALs. So it's a different, I hope they stay modern, but, EA is going to try and take the chunk out of, Activision's Warzone, because that's a lot of Warzone. Warzone is the biggest game that wasn't supposed to be that big.
Think about Battlefield was, we're older gamers. Battlefield was the game.
Yeah, right? That was big map game.
And then after, I think about 2 or 3, I think it was like after Battlefield 2 or 3, that's when Call of Duty showed up.
Yeah. And it was the World War II game.
Yeah, but it was also mostly like storyline, like play by yourself, and it had a really epic storyline and stuff
with
like that.
Little multiplayer.
Yeah, a little bit of multiplayer, and then everybody loved it, and then it started becoming the big boy on the block.
Yeah, and it's and I think Warzone really, being the success it was, which
during the pandemic,
and I've read the whole thing about how Warzone was not supposed to be this big. Yeah. It was so big that they didn't have the people. They didn't have the ability to have the people to work on it.
Yeah.
So they were scrambling because and now everybody's streaming it. It was like the amount of money they pulled in there. Yeah. So I think all the other companies are gonna be like, all right, how do we compete with that, or how do we take a piece of that? And we'll see. Hopefully, June 9th we'll find out and see what they say. And then June 12th to the 15th, E3. So E3 is going to be, all the companies are going to be on the table, and everybody's going to announce.
All the big guys will be out there.
Hopefully
we'll see something big.
Yeah, I'm EA and all the other companies that are on the EA. I mean, I want Star Wars games. That's what I really want, because there's a lot of companies that are getting. It's not just Dice
anymore. Yeah,
they've taken that away or spread it across. So
we'll get some clunkers, I'm sure, but the potential to get the game we're looking for.
But they're all AAA studios. Exactly. As much as the Necromunda game, it's a small studio, so I can understand where the bar is set. Like, they have to really hit a home run. But Ubisoft and Motive and all those big name companies, even their clunkers are still pretty decent games.
Good,
it's just it might not be exactly what the fans want.
Yeah, but with the AAA title, you're more than likely to get at least 1 or 2 serviceable games.
And then and
I'd rather take more hits, take more shots. Instead of just one company doing one game every so many years.
Spread it out.
When we were growing up, we had multiple Star Wars games.
Oh, yeah. Lucas Arts, was it Lucas Arts? Yeah, was their company that did them. Yeah, I mean, they pumped out games. And we've had, in EA's tender of the license, we've had, 3 or 4 games,
games
over a decade almost, The
only really diamond in I guess you could say in the rough for me was the newest game that just came out.
The Squadrons?
No, not even the Squadrons. The Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yes.
That game was fantastic.
Yeah. And that's what really showed them
what can be done.
What can be done
by another company
when people are angry at you.
Yeah.
That's really how that game was made. That game was made only because people were so angry with the Battlefront system and the debacle of loot boxes. Yeah, we'll make a game that's single player, and no one's going to buy it. And
guess what?
That's exactly what people wanted.
Everybody that likes Star Wars, it was fantastic. But, and then replaying it, playing it through, trying to find all the secrets, like every little nook and cranny, what lore was in it, how they're going to play the lore. I mean, everything that we wanted.
Yeah, you fall in Cal Kestis, he becomes a new hero. You love all the what happens to Padawan.
A new droid. It's one of the most popular droids there is now.
Yeah.
It's just
everything. So it's interesting also on the Battlefield 6 is those are the guys that made that are making Battlefield 6 are also supposedly the guys that are going to be working on a new Battlefront Star Wars 3. So that might be the announcement we get of
that would be fantastic.
This is coming, and then you have a year or 2 before it would actually hit
as long as we can avoid that loot box debacle.
They definitely would have been.
I think the game would have been fine without that. Yeah, honestly, because when they got rid of it, it did have a resurgence.
Oh, they sold when it was on Steam, not Steam. It was on Epic Games for free. they sold, I think, 19 million. They didn't sell it, but 19 million downloads.
Yeah.
So interesting. The potential's there.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has another game, Star Wars game that's in development that we have heard nothing about. Hopefully there's a trailer. Hopefully there's anything.
Any kind of info is good.
Yeah.
And coming out of pandemic is a lot of companies that are looking to, hit a home run early.
Yes.
And get things.
And a lot of companies
again.
are looking in data mining, or not data mining, but mining their old IPs for ideas. So there's a lot of older games that maybe have never gotten a redo that could be up.
Good stuff.
So we'll see. E3, once again, I think these companies need these big moments now.
Oh yeah, they need a home run.
They need the home runs. This is where people are getting back to everyday lives, getting back out in the world, and these companies are like, all right, we're stepping back up, full production. Here you go, and get people pumped.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, speaking of home run, it looks like GW has dropped a bomb on us.
Yes.
This past weekend,
we've talked about it,
and they wanna hit big, and I think they're going to hit big. And from what we've seen, they've definitely hit what looks like a home run right now.
Yeah,
with this
grand slam.
Great. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. It's got to come out. We got to see the rules. In the end, the rules will dictate if it's a really that big of a hit.
But for miniatures wise and a box,
as always, we've always said nobody makes better plastic minis than Games Workshop. And this Dominion box that just got announced for Age of Sigmar 3.0 it looks amazing.
It's like
amazing.
Well, first of all, the rumors that I heard on the internet, those guys at Grimdark on YouTube, those guys nailed it. Yeah, nailed it on the head. Everything was right. People even saying Kruleboyz couldn't be their name, and it was all dead on.
All that tells you is listen to Grimdark more often.
Yeah,
they got an in,
on
boys
YouTube,
and girls.
Man, those guys got an in.
They got an in, and when somebody has an in, pay attention.
Yeah, but it was. That's a great box. Like that's like how this is the best time if you want to play Age of Sigmar, get back into fantasy in any shape, way, or form. This is when a new edition hits. This is the way to do it. And oh man, those minis.
Well, speaking of the minis, something new we can do here. We actually have some stills of the boxes.
Yeah, we can look at the new miniatures,
the new minis and stuff like that, and we take a peek at them. If you haven't seen them already, our wizard behind the scenes over there will pop them up for you.
Yes.
If you're watching. If you're not watching, we'll do our best to describe them for you.
Yeah.
What are we starting off with here? Oh, we're starting off with the Knight Arcanum. Check out that mask that she has, by the way, more females in Age of Sigmar.
Yes, and diversity in the heads that are available in the options you get. Yeah. And then the fact that you get a helmed and an unhelmed head option is great. That's the first thing I noticed.
And they were talking about, with the helmet, because supposedly when Stormcast get reforged, they start losing a little bit of themselves and get a little more blank and faceless. So you can go with that mask option.
Yes.
But if you want to keep it personable, you can go with the other head.
Yes, and it also showed us that there's the humanity under there, which with the original Stormcast people weren't sure.
It was just you couldn't even see eyes. It was just like empty holes in the original.
People
Stormcast.
thought they were like Thousand Suns. Are they just energy inside the armor? But they're people.
They're there.
Yeah,
they're there.
it's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. I mean, like the scrolls and the she has a large tome in her waist. The pose is cool.
Yeah,
staff.
Very old school warrior priest with the humongous book on
yes,
and the scrolls.
Yeah, harkens back to that. Yeah, definitely cool mini.
We'll see what else we got. Oh,
Lord Imperatant.
And he has, what do you know, a little Griffhound.
Yeah, that's he's the guy from the video. The trailer is awesome, by the way. Definitely a must watch.
Yes.
His model, the pose.
Check out the shoulder. Is that like?
Yeah.
Is that like his old pet? Is it something he killed?
Yeah, I mean, it's another Griff. So people were speculating that maybe it was a favorite mount that died, and then to honor him, he wears it as like his
even protecting him in death.
Yes, and it also gives him the realm of beasts motif, which he has feathers and the
whole Gurfield.
Yes, very cool.
Oh wait! I think Phil's bringing up the big boys. Look at these things, man.
This is thick.
These are not.
This
thick
is wide.
Paladins.
Oh no, yeah.
Annihilators.
Well, from what I heard too is like that's the unit size. There's 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
like you buy them in groups of 3.
It's like the Retributors.
Yeah,
the Retributors are groups of 3.
I heard they have a 2+ save.
Okay, fantastic.
And they're. I mean, I don't know how hard they're gonna hit, but they look. Supposedly they do damage on the charge. Like
that shield is huge.
Yeah. The Praetors.
Praetors. Okay.
These are the bodyguards, supposedly, to your lord.
Okay.
So but in the video, there's a whole group of them with halberds. So I wonder if that's also a unit option.
Possibilities,
because these guys have the really interesting ribbons on their waists, which I think signifies that there are guards.
Okay, a little bit more of I mean, the cloaks are amazing. You can have all kinds of fun with that as a painter. I like the armor here. It looks a little more old school knight armor with like the plates on the side of the legs over there. That's like something different.
Yeah, the new proportion for the Stormcast has been
almost
very
Primaris treatment.
Yeah, it's just real proportions instead of being stumpy kind of like, hey, he's kind of like his legs are really like now when you measure the legs to the torso to the head, they're really interesting.
Thank you, Phil, for skipping to all the Stormcasts because I don't want to talk about those greenskins so much, but I know we have to.
They're coming, don't worry.
But here's more examples of the proper proportions.
No, they're Vindictors.
Vindictors.
You have to say them very...
More emphasize the Vindictors, okay?
Yes.
Again, proportions are much better here.
Yes, and then I mean shields and spears, and having a shield wall. These guys look awesome.
And look at I like the use of the spear and shield together.
Yes,
very.
Give me,
Sparta.
Give me 20 of those guys in the front row.
Very Sparta-esque.
And they've really gotten back to the standard bearers because I know coming up there's a large standard bearers.
Who doesn't miss standard?
But just to like really kind of. And then another thing...
Standard bearer is always a favorite, right? The Dwarven standard bearers.
Yes.
I mean, units had standards, and then you had the battle standard bearer.
The army standard bearer was always important.
I mean, I know maybe you got rid of it rules-wise, but it's just still be on the table.
Yeah, they were there. They're there, but they've never been as iconic as they have been.
Right.
Yes.
This was out of nowhere.
So these were the two that were at the end of the stream. They had said, we have more coming.
Yeah, not in the Dominion box.
These are like
units
add-ons later. Add-ons later.
Amazing. Again, a little bit of a throwback there with that chariot.
Yes, and that's like as Sparta as it gets. Like kind of like
that's Spartacus right there.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
The other one.
What else we got?
If we have
any more Stormcasts, or those are times
there was a standard bearer.
Do we have to go? Do we have to go to the part that I don't want to see?
We're going to get to those guys.
I don't want to get to those guys, but we have.
Interesting, too.
Oh, there you go. The archer type?
That guy, yes. There's
the Adjudicator?
The Adjudicator.
But again, more Gryph-hounds.
Look at that bow, dude.
That bow's wicked.
That bow. Like, if that was if that was a D&D bow, that's a 1D12 bow. You take 2D12 maybe.
Yeah, yes.
Which I'm sure it's going to be some kind of mortal wounds chucking.
I love when they add the little terrain piece to a base.
Yeah, I mean,
because that you don't. It's not something you have to do on your own. I mean, you could always do more if you want, but right out of the box.
Yes.
Because older times they would give you this bigger base model and it was barren.
Yeah. I know people complain like, another guy standing on a rock. But
I'd rather have the dynamic.
Listen to me. Grew up years of just like
static.
This is me.
Static poses. The old white dwarfs. Yeah. One axe, one shield.
Yeah, and it's
boring stance.
Yeah. So the dynamic and having a foot up and like,
and you still have room to change things up. If you want.
Yeah, and it also ties in the terrain. So if they come out with terrain and you have that, you're tying in a whole... another cool, interesting thing about the Stormcast is the motifs on their armor.
They have the...
Can you put those guys back up?
Yeah.
The Vindictors. So,
with the faces?
So now that is a dwarven representation
of Sigmar.
They specifically said that in.
And who's the dwarf then specifically that we're talking about?
We're talking about the return of Grunny.
Grunny?
Yeah.
Which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's fully coming back. So the fact that he's the one that this is new armor that's supposed to minimize Bellacor's whole shroud, where they're not supposed to be able to resurrect because of his magic. This armor lets them break the veil, and now they can come back to reforge. Yeah. But the motifs on the shields,
even the banner.
The banner, yes. There is another large standard bearer guy that's here, and he actually has the anvil. He actually has a dwarven anvil on the other side of the standard. But the new motif is.
And then we just saw some news about because the book is out.
The Kragnos
book is out, and in there they're talking about once again the return of the White Dwarf.
Yes.
And Grunny himself stepping up.
Coming back and actually calling out the rest of the Alliance and be like, cut Marathi some slack. We need her now because we got to get to work.
Yeah.
And so I still think, I'm telling you, Dordan are coming back as an allied book. I think you're going to get them. And I think that's going to be awesome.
Make that happen, baby.
Because my other side we'll get to in a little bit once we go deeper into the the Kruleboyz.
Oh, God.
We have another set of Dwarves.
Can I step out? Can I like take a break during this part?
We're gonna Phil, you come. You sit up here with me. We're gonna talk about this one because these guys. I gotta say though, once again, they've nailed They've taken orcs and given them something new, a new race, a new group of orcs, and
well, I like it. It is a little more Tolkien-esque, but it's still GW.
Yes. Well, you know what? Once again, this is something that they could have never have done in the old world.
No.
This would have been, where were these guys for 30,000 years? And I think the Mortal Realms gives you the ability of an endless plane to go, you know what? They've been here the whole time.
They're on this realm.
And they actually said in the book, Kragnos has they've all flocked to Kragnos as he's reawakened.
Yeah.
Because time to show up.
Because Eluriel won, and she sped the growth of destruction as well. Because destruction benefits from the growth.
Yeah, with her life. Yeah, she spread that whole life spell, which helped free him.
They benefit from it as well, and here it is.
Yeah, but I just think I like the idea of the Mork.
Look at that shield on that guy.
Worshipping. Well, that harkens back.
Look at that. Was he sticking his tongue at me? It's hysterical.
Well, that harkens back to those old 3rd edition fantasy shields.
It's got a little bit of the old school goofy, but it still looks mean.
Yeah, and it's how it's painted too.
The late 80s goblins and 90s goblins, they looked a little goofy is the word I would use.
All the miniatures back then looked goofy.
And they were, but the gobos and the orcs especially.
Yes.
Were like, that still looks, tribal, but mean and nasty.
Yes. So now you have
that mount. What is that mount?
There's a name for it right there. What's it called?
Great Gnash Tooth.
A Gnash Tooth, which is something in the swamp.
That sounds like Damien with the tooth and birthdays.
Another great thing about Mortal Realms, there's just thousands of beasts that we've never seen that are just going to show up, and you don't have to say,
which is even better. Yeah. Again, more room to make new stuff.
They truly are the cross between. They're that really thinner goblin.
Yeah.
Almost what
we would call a hobgoblin from D&D.
True, they took hobgoblins, they made them orcs, and they made them Mork affiliated more than Gork, and because there's a lot of hand motifs we're going to see in some of the other miniatures.
Marsh-like terrain with the swampy.
Yes. The new legend himself, by the way, the Stabgrot.
The Stabgrot.
The internet loves the Stabgrot.
Yeah. Well, he's giving the crab a run for his money.
They've actually put him on the crab. Like I've seen people
put him on
photoshopped him and put him riding the crab.
Oh, again, what's so great about orcs and goblins?
And a pot grot.
Look at his pot grot,
which is now legal in New Jersey. Pot grot.
Pot grot.
But the
pot grot legal in Jersey. I love it.
If you notice the swamp cola shaman,
what is he carrying? Oh, he's pouring something.
Yes, and if you notice, his staff is the hand of Mork, because it's the foot of Gork, right, and the hand of Mork.
I did not notice that because I don't look at greenskin so much.
So they're really focusing now on that side.
It's swamp cola.
It's swamp
not Kohler.
Not Kohler.
It sounds like me with my New York accent.
Yeah.
He's a swamp cola from with the pot grot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stir that pot.
Throw me that pot grot. You know that guy.
Yeah, it's funny.
As Brian would say, that little shitbird.
This guy's really cool.
That was definitely a shitbird, by the way. Is that a tongue?
So yes, the fluff,
like a real tongue.
The fluff behind this, he goes in the swamp, finds a noxious beast that emits this like fumes, and when they cut the tongue off and he mounts it on his standard, it still gives off the fumes. So he's gonna have an effect that's
like maybe a hard to hit aura,
or like some kind of debuff.
-1 to hit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome.
I love justifying with a tongue.
Yes,
that's amazing. He's got some head shrinking going on there too.
There's a lot of heads on there. Yeah.
Heads up.
What is that? So this is one of the things that the faction's bringing. Yeah. They're bringing ranged into destruction.
Nastiest looking crossbows.
Orcs don't have. They're not known. Yes. Yeah. Now I heard they have 2 abilities. They have move and shoot for a normal damage. If they don't move, they get an almost aim ability to do maybe mortal wounds.
Oh, you mean they can actually hit things when they shoot?
Yeah. Well, when it's a 6-sided dice.
In my experience, orcs have been the stormtroopers of.
Yeah, I'm not going there. I'm not even going there. Yeah, on a 6-sided dice, it's 1 through 6. I mean, come on.
By the way, Sal does have a Star Wars reference on his shirt. Again, he can't help himself.
Yeah, no, it's content.
He can't help himself.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, the gut rippers.
Yes. Really interesting fact that I found out post.
Shields are fantastic again.
So perfect example of the shields. It's hard to point out, but every shield is a reflection of the bearer. So there is a shield in the top left. Is a guy with a patch?
Yes.
His shield has a patch.
Okay.
If the shield has the knobs on his helmet, it reflects him. One guy's face is really busted, so his shield's face is busted.
So
their shields all reflect the bearer.
He's got an overbite. His shield has an overbite.
Yes, they all have. They reflect their shield, which I thought was really interesting. And now here we go to the official. So the other guys were term. They're still orcs, but these are true hobgoblins.
Hobgrots.
Hobgrot slitters.
Slitters with a Z.
Now-
Lots of Z's and F's.
This is where we get interesting because the GW team did hint that first off, they look completely, their structure, their body structure, the coloring that they painted them specifically different.
Okay.
And their armor motif is very Middle Eastern.
Oh, okay.
And they're throwing what people have been calling grenades.
Oh no. Yeah,
So-
you don't say
And
it.
that they have dark masters that they serve.
I don't want. I thought we were going to discuss this.
Yeah, and the Hashut,
No.
the
You spoke the word.
Chaos Dwarves, they actually said
I
that
thought
they're
we
going to
banned
make a
that
return.
phrase on the show.
They're coming. And I'm building a vast army of them.
Oh God, I'm going
'Cause
to blow them all up.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the Civil War.
Everyone, give me dwarves, and we will have. We'll do it right here
Yeah,
on the
dwarves.
podcast. Battle reports, everything sound like killing each other.
They're not going to call them Chaos Dwarves for sure. They'll have a new name. The Legion of Asgore is their
Something,
old
yeah.
list.
But dwarves on dwarf action.
Yes.
That is a big.
Yes.
Big
This
crossbow.
was one of the miniatures that they did post that's going to be coming after the box.
I love that he's holding it like as if it's a gun still.
Yeah, it goes
He's
over.
not shooting it like it's a war machine. It's on his shoulder and he's pulling the trigger.
It's almost like a stock. Like he's got like a swivel mount. It's
Yeah.
really cool. And then he's got his little grot for reloading.
Yeah.
I'm assuming once again this is going to be the how do we do a monsters thing. This is going to do a lot of
Well, every army needs it instead of just some armies having it. Every army needs it. You know, Stormcast had
and then
the,
this thing
the
is
big girl.
out of control. The Breaker Boss.
I can't help but laugh every time I see these minis from these armies.
The sculpting on this one is specific. Is genius in so many ways because they actually gave him a pillow that supports the harness that
so it
he's
doesn't
sitting.
hurt him.
So not to chafe
You don't
my
want to chafe his
poor
back.
Trogoth.
You don't want to have them. He doesn't want to have to see the chiropractor after each
Yes,
fight.
because imagine what that chiropractor does. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to put you on the rack and, you know.
I mean, well, maybe he is the chiropractor.
Yeah,
After all, he
yeah.
is the breaker boss.
Yeah, I'm sure
maybe
they get-
he is the chiropractor.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably get one of those giant lizards just like roll them over.
That's the
and-
chiropractor showing up to fight with the rest of the army.
Yeah. And there's the
there's
whole
the
box. Yeah. So, yeah, you're getting.
Oh, you know what we didn't hit on? The big girl with the wings on the Sigmar
Yes,
side.
there's a. I don't know her
I don't know if
name.
he's got. We'll see if we got her. She's, I think, basically the monster killer on the Stormcast side.
Well, she's the. She's the big hero of the box.
Yeah. Do we
We'll
have
have
her
to
with the
look
wings?
her
All right, we'll find her. Anyway, we could focus in on the big box again.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the monster killer on the Stormcast side.
Yeah, she's gonna be.
Typical-
She's the big HQ.
Yeah, and she's on a terrain piece. She's the big HQ, and she's
Yes.
got the big pair of wings going on. So I'm sure Phil will dig it up for us, and he'll pop it on screen for
Yes.
those that haven't seen it yet. But she's typical Stormcast, but female, and she looks pretty badass. And she's on a big piece
The way
of
she's even
terrain,
painted, it's awesome.
kind of like a broken stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, because it doesn't. Once again, Age of Sigmar, unless something new rules, like there's, you don't have to hide her behind a building. So, like in 40K, you know, you would.
Well, they could be in there.
She ain't hiding behind a barricade, but you don't need to.
They could
in this
be
game.
in the mix. Which
But
is what I love about Sigmar.
The war at the Amberstone Watch, is that what it say? Amberstone
Yeah, that's
Watch? That's going to be the narrative battle of this box. So,
Okay.
like, if you want to play the battles in the Realm of Beast with these, so pretty much these are like the starting missions you can go on. The more
what they
narrative side.
typically have in these boxes,
Yeah.
and
And
which
you
they
get your
had
cards.
they had in the Indominus 40K box. You got your the War Scroll cards
and
and
a limited edition cover.
limited edition cover, big hardcover rulebook,
Which they-
not a soft
which
cover,
they
which
did
they
in
did in Indominus as well. I think it's one of the reasons that these boxes do so well is that it's not just like a soft cover small book. I mean, some of us do miss the mini rulebook, but the big hardcover rulebook is key, and with an alt cover, which is for guys that like us that like shinies.
Yeah, Phil found this the Celestial Spear.
Indrasta. The
Indrasta.
Celestial Spear. Fantastic. Look at that mini. Come on.
No, yeah, I'm not really into the angels, but she's beyond.
Well, I am very much into the angels. If you watched last podcast, the divine is very big for me, and those wings are amazing.
Yeah,
she's got a bit of a crown and a backdrop. She's really has what looks like a celestial spear.
The headdress behind her,
and
the twin comet.
Yeah, and she's dual wielding with what looks like almost a two-handed sword in her other hand.
Yeah, big sword, big spear.
Yep, and again, proportions. She looks like a human.
Yes. Yeah, it's all. I remember in art school, it was always about your the height of your head.
Yeah.
There's so many heads within the size of your body, shape wise, like size wise. You could do like 6 or 7 heads from the top of your head to your feet.
Okay.
When you draw something, a lot of GW's old sculpts, they didn't really have that proportions, and they've really gotten the whole head to body proportion to torso to leg length. It's really.
I'm wondering if they originally started doing that just to be unique.
Maybe.
Make it their own.
Yeah,
To
and
be
I think the
different than
technology
Tolkien?
today with CAD
I'm
and be
sure
able to
that
do
helps.
it and not have to like, I already did this in clay or green stuff, and like I'm not doing
it's
it
a
again.
lot easier.
This is just like, okay, just stretch.
Oh, well, I don't want to use the word easy, but it's a lot more. It gives them more design flexibility.
Yes, and you can do changes on the fly. Oh, we don't like that. Oh, we didn't already sculpt it and have to rip it apart.
Yeah, it's not a 6-month sculpt that I've been working on, and you just start ripping it apart on me. I could just go in and use an older file and change it and keep both files, put them right next to each other in a matter of minutes.
And then just work them.
Yeah,
But
not
I think,
that I have the skill to do that. So the people to do this are skilled.
they're awesome. That's just
They're
amazing.
skilled.
But I'm sure for them too is like having that technology that just
just talking to Brian about how he's been using
just being able to color stuff and like, I don't like that, and erase it. Not.
Yeah.
The other thing cool about the box, it has the you're obviously gonna get the war scrolls for each faction.
Mm-hmm.
What it doesn't have, there's no terrain.
No terrain.
There's no game boards,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming at the release they're gonna let you know that they're gonna come out in conjunction with.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems the new way. Like this box is the Indominus style box, just all new miniatures rules right out of the box,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna get probably 3 tiers. 40K has 3-tier box. Like of
that would be great if they
entry.
did that, like the entry level box for like $50.
Because the top one had terrain.
And if that's a lesson that I'm hoping that they learned, because it works. That box flies off the shelf, especially for new players. Even veteran players pick it up, and they split it with a buddy. $50, all those minis in there. If they do something like that for this as well, and then even as you go to the hires, the elite and the command editions with a little bit of maybe like booty terrain and
the top
and a
one
board
had a
piece.
whole bunch of terrain for Indominus.
The high end one comes with a full on terrain.
So if you
set.
bought that,
Yeah.
those forces just contributed to a larger force that you got in Indominus, but now you have the terrain and the boards.
Yeah, you could theoretically, if you were building up, you start with the small box in the 40K system that they have currently. If they copy that into Age of Sigmar, you buy the small box, and then you buy the next box up, which adds to the one that you had already. Now you have a medium-sized army, and then eventually you get to large-sized army, and then you get to all the options,
Which
with the terrain and everything.
Why the Indominus and this Dominion box becomes that FOMO thing, because A, it's limited. B, you're kind of starting out. You almost have like, especially in Age of Sigmar, where it's like maybe the scale doesn't go as big as sometimes as 40K with the units, because it's more fixed on how you could buy a unit instead of just
They did eventually come out with the others, and I'm assuming it was pandemic related that took them so long to do that with the Indominus box. They did start making them. Over time.
That was all.
But we're talking. That box came out in July, and we're still getting some of them just this week.
Yeah,
it's
that's all pandemic
almost a
related.
year.
It has to be.
I'm sure 6 months of that is pandemic related.
Yeah. Well, they even announced that the new 2 codexes for 40K were Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, and they were supposed to be out months ago. So
the original release plan was 2 a month.
2 a month, yeah.
Which was, we were ecstatic about that. Yeah. This is fantastic. Because you don't
front
have
end of
that
the month, back end of the month.
Yeah.
You got,
it was happening, but then pandemic.
I think if they get back to that,
hits.
and hopefully Age of Sigmar has the same kind of,
Well, maybe with things ramping up, I'm on the store side of things, we're seeing things come in a little more frequently. So, and others we're not, but things, some normalcy starting to return. Hopefully that applies to this release.
Yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully you find out soon too what the allotment or your cap is going to be.
No more allocations. Allocations has been deemed a dirty word by Games Workshop, and
cap.
I was told that the new word is cap.
Yes. So what is really going to be your cap for Dominion?
And I don't know yet. When Indominus released, this was probably completely made before the pandemic, so they had them already, because they planned 2 years. They were out 2 years out. I'm sure all that
These have to be pretty much almost probably set in stone
they
and made already.
They opened the box on stream.
Yeah.
A full production level box, sealed and everything.
For 6 months, those are probably in a warehouse already. So
who knows? Maybe even longer. You never know. We a lot of us believe that GW works on a 2-year timeline. That stuff might have been done a year and a half ago, just sitting, waiting to come out.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, odds are we'll probably see a lot of it early on. And they did do a print out the man run with the Indominus box.
Yes. Well, when it sold out and people complained.
I mean, some of us are thinking that might be the way they go in the future to help because they like to guarantee their profits by making so many and selling them all. That guarantees the profit.
But it wasn't print on demand forever too. It was like this is the window.
It was a window, and it was a pretty decent window. And as far as like business stability, I could see it being a wise choice to do that. As a store owner, I don't like that they do that because they cut me out of.
Yeah, that's you're
they're getting. They got all the money. I get none of that.
You're not. No one's coming to you
I'm
for
not getting
that.
the distributor. Distributor's not happy about that either.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't get their cut.
Let's hope that I hope that my worry about this is for how long is this going to be where the only way you get the rules for 3rd edition is going to be in this box.
Yeah, and it was like that for
how
a while
long before we get another rule book?
I think it was almost
should be right. If they, you know what, if you want to make a lot of money, you want to make some money, you're going to make a lot of money.
I think it was 2 months.
Yeah,
that wasn't bad. I would have preferred a month. Like the following month they should have. But again, it might have been pandemic.
Yeah, and then are they going to keep digital? Because Age of Sigmar still has digital rules, digital, army books. They don't have that in 40K anymore. So is that going to stay on this side and not on that side?
It's probably going to leave, and they're probably going to because they're really pushing that app.
Yeah. But there's no app. There's no app for Age of Sigmar. It's not like 40K.
Well,
and they didn't announce an app during this.
They didn't announce, but you can pretty much rest assured that they're going to put it in the app.
I don't know. They'd have to. It's a brand new app. Then it would be a big announcement to say there's an app. Yeah. Because right now you just go on the Warcom site and you can make lists there, but it's just a browser based. It's not an app.
They are announcing. The next bit of news we have is they are announcing some digital news this week.
Well, yeah, they're having their Skull of Thrones event where they're going to announce all of their video games coming out. I'm assuming it's because all the games are getting all the. They're going to do it themselves, and like this is the new video games that are coming out and stuff. So I'm curious to see. I think that's also listed for Saturday kind of reveal.
Yeah. So when we'll have more news on that as it reveals for next week's podcast. So
see if anything cool, because once again, hopefully a big studio, AAA studio, is going to take a stab at something, anything. The
last AAA studio at all was I think it was Relic.
Well, all the Dawn of Wars, but they announced Dawn of War,
also Space Marine. Which was a really good game.
THQ was before that dissolved. That was a top notch.
That was like the last game that they did. I think before they died. But that Space Marine game is fantastic. If
we
you
love
play that
because the way
you can always get that on discounted on Steam for the sale. The way it plays,
it's fun. If no one's played
you
that, play
heal by killing orcs.
Yeah, mega stomp when you hit your bar up.
As you kill things, you heal. I mean, come on, what's a better mechanic than that?
Yeah,
and then it has like the bullet time stuff. As you're doing that, it's like it does the bullet time matrix slow mo. Which is really just a great aesthetic for that environment. So,
yeah, the Space Hulk Deathwing, I think it was the Space Hulk game where it's a good game, but it just never had that like appeal, like where you need appeal outside of the normal fans to grow.
Well, to make it mainstream,
game's got to make it mainstream. So
and
I think Dawn of War has made it mainstream.
Yes, I told you how many people come into the store and don't even know that. Games Workshop product was a tabletop before it was a PC game.
I met those people. I met a group at New York Comic Con. They were, cosplay tooled out to the 9. The guy had an Ultramarine. There was an Inquisitor, heavy bolter. I walked over to him wow, you guys look great.
Standing 8 feet tall.
They look great. There was 6 of them. And I'm like, where do you guys play? And they're like, what do you mean? We play. They had no idea there was a tabletop. That was all Dawn of War. All their cosplay came from Dawn of War. I'm like, there's a miniatures game that you play. Like, really?
Cool.
I'm like, oh my God. I was like, to me, it's the other way around.
That's probably because they are East Coasters. And on the East Coast, we've learned that hobby stores are just probably a little too expensive to run in this area because the rent is just so ridiculous and the space that you need. True. I mean,
they have a big place,
firsthand experience. Here at Rental Gaming, we got a small little store, and we make use of every inch that we have. I mean, we film this in the basement in the corner. In the dungeon. People are upstairs now playing. We hear them stomping around up there playing some X-Wing tonight.
Yeah.
But
the space is a premium.
It's a premium. In the Midwest, they could have these big stores because the rent is nominal compared to out here. And if you want to get a big store like that over here on the East Coast, you might have a hard time staying open. There was that place. Was it Neutral Ground in Manhattan that had this. Tremendous play area on the second floor.
That was in that used to go up the elevator.
It was like a warehouse. You go up the elevator and then the second floor and you walked into.
And that was years ago. The rent was probably still high, but not like today. But
that was a humongous play area.
Yeah, it was huge.
And why did they close? Probably because the rent got just too much of a burden.
But
So,
yeah. So in the end, we got a lot of digital, a lot of video game stuff coming. We'll find out that Saturday. We're gonna find out what GW
they
has
announced.
there.
Yeah.
And
then Dominion box, we supposed to no release, no hard release date yet.
I think we're gonna get those like more announcements like closer. I think they did say the end of June.
And if
I'm no date of aiming.
I'm anticipating around 4th of July again because I don't know if you remember the original launch of Age of Sigmar was actually I think on the 4th of July. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be shooting for the first week of June.
Probably this weekend.
Last week of June, first week of July, but that might be like the pre-order date. And then we might have, you can pre-order it now, but you're not going to get it for another 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah.
So
it gives them their buffer window, which they're going to need. But
So in closing today, I wanted to mention a couple things coming up for future content on Red Seal Gaming and Red Seal Roundup and some other videos that we're going to put up on our YouTube channel. We're going to start putting up some painting videos, like how-tos, tutorial-type videos, and we're going to be throwing up some battle reports from all game types.
Yeah,
X-Wing,
pretty much we're going to do X-Wing,
Warhammer,
Armada, Legion. We hope to do like all the Star Wars linked games and just give people our experience, our journey through the games.
Yeah.
We'll start doing, especially with Age of Sigmar coming out. We're hoping to do
Path of Glory.
Well, yeah. So me and Phil are going to do a little mention and shout out the armies we're going to pick to do like a Path and Glory intro. We haven't played
the Minion Box armies, the Stormcast, and the.
Yeah. I think we're going to do demos of that box when it comes out by itself, and then me and Phil have also chosen our own kind of forces. In a start collecting box format, and we're to do a Path of Glory that's in each book to get us,
Do you want to hint what those are? Or you want to?
We're gonna reveal those later.
Okay, all right.
I'm going outside my wheelhouse on this one. So.
Oh, really? Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned, folks.
Yes,
but I might pass out when he tells me what it is.
No, it's nothing. I mean, it's not like no goody two shoes. Believe me.
Okay.
But I will buy. The new Stormcast. I have a painting scheme for a Realm of Beasts Stormcast force. We're going to split a box, and I might have something to do with that. We'll see.
We're also going to have some new levels on the Patreon page.
Yes.
So we're going to add more tiers, which will give some behind-the-scenes videos. We'll have some sneak peek videos and some pre-show on Patreon for the battle reports. Like you'll see the battle report on the YouTube channel, but if you wanted to see like pre-show and the setup and discussion,
the banter and like the bloopers of us doing
Patreon access.
Yeah, hopefully at 40K we could do some bat reps, and then maybe even. People that want to do a bat rep together, we can make a time slot and maybe get you guys on.
We'll just
have a bat rep that's filmed and stuff. We'll see. We'll
just more content. We're gonna mess around.
More
with.
Content, all around.
Like I said, videos, battle reports, behind the scenes. But what I also want to do is tell you that we're gonna start having some guests. On the show that can either Q&A us or we will Q&A them.
Yep.
Hoping to get a representative from one of my distributors on.
Yeah, so anyone associated with gaming and all the stuff.
A little more behind the scenes of a gaming store and what we have to deal with, and then also hear what he has to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm sure not all game store owners are. How he's got to deal with me, and I want to throttle my rep because I can't get the product that my customers want.
Especially when he withholds spoilers for the Forgotten Realms Magic set.
I'm telling you, we're going to tie him up. We're going to tie him up in the basement and give him like the spotlight treatment.
Any other game really wouldn't make a difference, but those magic.
I have some plans for some semi, if not completely famous people coming on the show. But
we'll see.
We'll leave that for later. Just a little bit of a spoiler.
You're hoping Dungeons and Dragons is something maybe we could delve into on the show or stream or not stream, but some recordings.
Yeah, I haven't reached out to him personally yet. I know he's a fan of the show. Our buddy Dave from Points of Articulation.
Yes.
I'm trying to reach out to him personally, but I have misplaced his phone number.
Oh,
so I know he is a fan of the show, and he also is a customer in the store. Dave, we were probably thinking about maybe trying to have you on the show and have a little bit of
let's talk Star Wars.
Yeah, we know what a fan of Star Wars you are. Yeah. We are as well, and you've been doing reviews on YouTube for some time now. Great, we actually advertise his YouTube channel every time we can. Whenever he launches a new YouTube video, our Discord community of 300 plus people.
Discord alerts go off.
Gets an alert so they can watch his stuff. So we would love to have him on the show and pick his brain on why he loves Star Wars so much.
And more guests. We're just going to try and do more.
More in the industry and maybe even eventually start getting people from the store.
Yeah.
On and why they're into gaming and why they like the store or why they don't like the store and what we can do to make it better. So thanks for tuning in as always, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yep. Have fun.
Never stop gaming.
Roll dice.